Hello TikTok, me again. Little day in the office, sending out quotes today, and I just wanted to ask, is it me? Is it the time of the month or the full moon or, one of these, on a third Saturday of a day that ends in Y on a blue moon, this, that and the other. I'm pretty sure it's the blue moon. Anyone else experiencing weird customers at the moment? Or not time waster customers, but customers that are asking lots of questions and then you're not sure things are going to go ahead, or not understanding things, or just something odd going on? I think it's the full moon. There was a full moon a couple of days ago, so I thought I'd make a list. I don't normally make a list. I normally reel it off the top of my head, but there's too many on this one and I'll forget them. And what the last few days, since about last week Thursday, and we're on Monday now, so the last 3 working days, what they have reminded me is important is taking deposits. Now, a deposit, it serves many different purposes. If a customer wants to go ahead with a quote you've sent, and you say, great, can you send a deposit to me then to book it, and they act surprised because they didn't know that you needed a deposit, to me it shows that they haven't read your quote properly, because it clearly states on all my quotes that I need a 10% deposit, non-refundable, and I explained to them that's to basically book the slot in the calendar. And if I say to them, okay, you want to go ahead and you haven't paid the deposit, and then they say that they didn't realise that a deposit was required, they obviously haven't read the quote. And I would much prefer it if they read the quote. There's not that many lines on it, because then they understand what they're getting from me. If they haven't read it, my concern is that on the day they think they're getting something X, Y and Z and I'm providing A, B and C, because if they don't write what I'm providing, they're not going to know what they're getting, are they? So the first job of the deposit is that it makes sure that they've read and understood what it is that I'm providing. The next reason is it helps me to sort the wheat from the chaff, and by that I mean to find the customers that are actually bothered about their projects. If the mention of a 10% deposit is enough to put someone off, to me that's a big red flag, and that's the type of customer that I probably don't want. And it shows that deposit of asking for 10% up front has probably helped me to dodge a bullet. If I'm more bothered, if I'm putting more energy, if I'm chasing someone else's project more than they're chasing it, that's not a good recipe. I shouldn't want the job done more than the customer. The customer should really want the job done, and I should then take away that pain point and do it for them. That's why they're paying for a service. And it's a big red flag when I'm chasing a job, or I'm more bothered about someone's job than they are, and it makes me think, if you're not fussed about this job, I don't know why I should be. So the other reason that you should take a very small deposit up front, it makes it really easy. It takes the pain point away. It makes it so simple for that customer to make the final payment. So let's say you do a £100 deposit, and let's say you're there all week, and it's booked for a few weeks in advance, a month in advance, or whatever it is. When it comes to that last day, you're on Friday, you're packing up the last bits of tools, you're hoovering up, cleaning it, they're happy with it, you're happy with it. You go, great, thank you very much. Could I please get the final payment today? And they should know what it is, and you could just put it in a text or write it down or calculate it for them there on the spot and go, here you go, it was a £1,000 job, you paid £100 deposit, 900 quid to pay, can I get that today please? And they could pretty much pay it with the phone in their hand while you're stood there, because they've already verified and got all your details. They don't have to go through that painful process of setting up a new person, because they've already paid you. So it makes that really easy for them to do that final payment, which is the important payment, which is the payment that you really want and need at the end of the job. It makes it simple. It also then, you can say to them, and I'll send you the feedback links for recommendations, reviews online, and you can send them that list of feedback links while you're stood with them. Bang, 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 copy and paste it from your last time, and they've got 3 or 4 links that they can give you the reviews. And it's so painless, it's so simple and easy. They do it there and then while you're stood there. If you walk away, you haven't got the payment, they go, oh yeah, I'll do it Monday, you don't chase it, you're not fussed. They're not fussed. If you're not fussed about the money, you shouldn't be doing this. The money is the most important thing, and that is the one priority that you've got, is to get paid at the end of the day. Then why else should you take a payment? Because payment of a small deposit constitutes agreement to your terms and conditions. The contract between you and the customer has begun when that payment has been received. They don't need to sign any paperwork. They don't need to, sign literally the old-fashioned way, sign on the dotted line. Their deposit payment shows that they agree the contract between you and them. And it's such a simple way to get an agreement set up between two people, is that you go, here, please pay a non-refundable deposit. There you go, terms and conditions are agreed. You can also dodge time wasters. So I sort of touched on this earlier. So you pre-qualify people. By that I mean, when a new job lead comes in, I've got a little form that I think I did on one of my previous TikToks. There's a little clipboard, a little form set up, and it's got two sections. The pre-qualify is the questions I ask to check that I'm interested in the job, to check that I'm suitable for the job, to check that their requirements and what I can provide are aligning. And taking a deposit is one of those things. It helps you to dodge time wasters, and it means you don't end up driving around for days when you add it up. Half an hour here, half an hour there. The next thing you know, you spent half a day, do that a couple of times, and it's a day taken out of your calendar. Deposits help you to avoid that. And the last thing, once you've got that deposit, they say, oh, what's the deposit for? It's not for materials, because the amount that you need for materials is probably going to be much more than 10% of the job. It's simply to book that slot in your calendar. I don't book slots in my calendar for friends and family until I know it's 100% confirmed, let alone random strangers who I've never met before, who I might have only discussed things over the phone with, and then met them briefly for half an hour or something like that. I don't book time in my calendar unless they've put a small payment there. It does help to stop cancellations. It won't fully stop them. But people, like I said at the start of this message, people seem to be acting weird in the last few days. People are cancelling or changing or just generally, wasting your time. And by taking that little deposit, then you explain to them, it's written in your terms, it's non-refundable, it books a slot in your calendar. It helps to hopefully avoid cancellations, even though recently I have been cancelled on a few times by customers who I thought were very trustworthy and definitely going to be really good.